Hello everybody and welcome to the Big Cat Sanctuary and Paradise Wildlife Parks live here on World Lion Day. World Lion Day is a fantastic day for zoos, collections all around the world to raise awareness for lions and the issues that they face in the wild and what you can do to support them. And today we're with Dan, who is going to be training Kasanga, and we've also got Jack behind the camera. Say hello, Jack.
Hello.
And we're also going to be heading over to Paradise Wildlife Park with 123's Aaron and Cassie, I believe, who are going to be visiting their lions there. But today we're going to be doing a training session at the sanctuary today with Kasanga. Dan, tell us a little bit about why we train our cats and the benefits.
Yeah, so what we're doing today with Kasanga is basically a health check. So he's going to come over, he's already come over because he's excited, he knows what's about to happen. I'm going to check all the parts of his body that normally we wouldn't be able to see if he's lying in the middle of his enclosure quite far away. So I'm going to look at his eyes, good look at his teeth, check those paw pads, and get him ready to hopefully have blood draws into the future. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So Dan, if you want to get ready, and we'll stop Kasanga waiting so eagerly. He's ready to go. So Dan, sort of tell the guys at home just sort of how long you've been training Kasanga and sort of how far you've been able to get with him.
Yeah, probably around 2 years now. We've come a long way, to be fair. So when we first started, it was just getting used to the basics with the touch, which I'll show you first of all, and then from there he follows me pretty closely, which is really nice to say. You know, he will come over because he really enjoys his training, and yeah, it's got to the point now where I've been able to vaccinate him, which I'm personally quite proud of, and yeah, looking forward to the blood draws into the future, which will also be very important for him.
And the vaccination, that's particularly important as well, you know, doing it without anaesthetic.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it minimises any distress to him. It's really quick. It was over in about 30 seconds, and then yeah, then he's vaccinated, so it's really important, yeah, and works very well.
And above all else, rewarded with a little treat
Always.
At the end.
Yeah, so it's all positive reinforcement. So we're giving him food as we're doing it, so he wants to come over. If he didn't want to participate, then that would be the end of the session. But to be honest, I've never had him not want to participate, which is really good. So I'll show you the touch work to start with, which is the kind of the start and the basics of getting him used to the target, and then reinforcement afterwards. Hang on. Touch. Touch.
Eagle-eyed viewers might notice, Dan, that target is a little bit smaller than you tend to use.
Yes. Touch. So when I started with him, I used a bigger target. But what I did notice was that he wouldn't really pinpoint his nose right where I wanted it to go. So I found using a smaller target made it easier for me to really get him exactly where I needed to be, rather than him just kind of brushing his face against the side of the target. And yeah, it's worked well since then. Touch. So what I'm doing now is getting a nice look at his eyes, nice look at his teeth, as he's coming over nice and close. Kasanga, hold, good, go, hold, touch.
What's really great to see about this, Dan, is that it's all on the cat's terms, isn't it? You know, they're not forcing them to do anything. They actually quite enjoy participating.
They do,
Probably
yeah.
noticed that you've found a bit of bond with Kasanga.
Hold, 100%. Yeah, it's really sweet, especially, I mean, you do form a bond with the animals that you train. I mean, every keeper here looks after all the animals here, but they all train one or two cats in particular, and the idea behind that is so you can form a slightly closer bond with them, so they are more reliable at coming over, and then they will be happy to participate. And as you say, pretty much all the cats on site are so food motivated, so they will always come over, and yeah, it is nice to build that extra bond with them. So I'll go for a paw pad check next. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll bring him up onto his back legs, and the idea here is to check his paw pads. Hopefully hold him for a little while, so you can get a nice look at that. Kasanga. Up. Hold. Hold. No. Hold. Oh, there's a lovely look at the teeth. Touch. Good. Hold. Hold.
So having them on their back legs like that, Dan, what does that give keepers the opportunity to do?
Touch. Looking at the paws. Sorry, talking through my whistle here. Looking through the paws, so I'm getting a lovely look at his foreheads here, and checking his claws. So what you might have noticed that I didn't reinforce him for opening his mouth. That wasn't the command I was giving him. It was a great way for me to look at his teeth, which is very important. But we have a separate command for that we're currently working on. So I don't want to reinforce him to do that every time he goes towards a target, because then he might end up biting the target, which wouldn't be very good if he ingested this. Yeah, it was a good look at his paw pads there. Nice, healthy, no cracks to them, which is exactly what we're wanting for. So yeah, we'll do a couple more holds, and then we'll walk down to his crush and I'll show you that side of things.
Brilliant, thank you. Just while Dan is doing his training, I think it's a good opportunity to talk about Project Lion, which is the Sanctuary's new initiative to basically renovate and expand our lion enclosures at the back of the site, also raise money for our conservation partners, and we're also going to be trying to establish new conservation partners in Asia, which is excellent, and with the hope of bringing Asiatic lions to the sanctuary, which is really exciting. All you need to do is go on our website to find out more. Just on our website, you'll see all about Project Lion there, and find ways that you can get involved and help donate and raise some money for the sanctuary. So head online and you'll find out more there.
It'd be so cool to have Asiatic lions. It'd be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right, everybody. Come on now. So, walking towards the crush here. The crush for Cassandra is basically a huge log. I'm going to be planning on building a table for him into the near future, but it works very well to be able to get him close. Everybody.
So the crush is designed just to get his body closer to the mesh.
And it means that I can then contact, pinch him here. And this is how you get them used to being vaccinated. Contact. Contact. And you can see he really is not worried about it. He's not bothered at all.
There's no flinch. He knows the command.
Yep.
And it's all based off that amazing relationship that Dan has with Cassandra.
Right. Contact.
So looking ahead into the future, Dan, what's the next goal for you with Cassandra?
So a couple of different things. I'd love to get him to fully lie down, because what you'll see is he's kind of squats. Touch. Don't go for it. Okay. So this here is good, but I like to get it drawn down. Hold.
And what would be the benefit of that?
Again, it's easier working for the blood draws. Nice and relaxed, but truth here he is. Hold. Touch. Touch. He just always likes to hold his ball in the air.
For those watching at home, if you haven't seen already, Cassandra and Dan, funnily enough, both feature in CBBC's 1 Zoo 3. You might see Dan in the
Touch.
helping out with some of the projects that we've had at the sanctuary, like Kirana's Move, for instance. If you're looking for something to watch, perhaps over the weekend, totally recommend 1 Zoo 3. And we're going to be handing over to Aaron from 1 Zoo 3 shortly.
Hold. Go on. Walking out across there. So yeah, the whole idea behind that is, like I said, he has been vaccinated through that exact method. But get him nice and still, nice and relaxed. Like training, having relaxed cats is essentially important for them. And actually my biggest task with Cassandra the first time I started training him was just to try and slow him down a little bit, because he saw food, he got so excited, came running across. And so I am slowly starting to see him slow down with his training, which is very beneficial. And yeah, check out the 1 Zoo 3.
Excellent. And also on our YouTube channel, we do actually have a really nice video of Dan showing his training with Cassandra. You see how far he's come as well over the time that Dan has been training with him. But I think that's pretty much all from us here. Dan's just given Cassandra a final little treat to say well done. Thank you very much. And what we'll we'll do the classic all done hand gesture to Kasanga so he knows, and then he's got a little chicken drumstick there.
So we always finish on a big bit.
Yeah, this is a good well done. But that pretty much marks it all for us. Happy World Lion Day to everyone, and we'll hand over to Aaron and Cassie at Paradise. Aaron?
Thank you, Dan, Harry and Kasanga down at the Sanctuary, and welcome to Paradise Wildlife Park on World Lion Day. I'm Aaron from CBBC's 1 Zoo 3, and I'm joined by Cassie, who's part of our carnival team here at the zoo, and behind us are our beautiful lions. So, Cassie, who do we have with us?
So over here we've got Kia. She's the oldest lioness that we've got. She's going to be 16 later this year in September. And then just behind me here we've got her 2 daughters. On this side we've got Azula. She was Kia's first daughter from her first litter. And then on the other side we've got Zuri. She was Kia's daughter from her second litter.
And these are white lions, is that correct, Cass?
They are white lions.
Brilliant.
Yes,
So what's the
indeed.
difference between a white lion and your traditional African lion?
So all it is the coat colour. They are still African lions, they're not a separate subspecies or anything like that. The trait is called leucism, it's a recessive trait, and basically it just means that these lions have blonde hair rather than brown hair.
Awesome. And I see we've got some meat. What exactly are we going to be doing with the lions this morning?
So this morning I'm going to be calling them over for a little bit of a treat. While they're up close it gives me a chance to get a good look at them, I can check them over and make sure that they're all fit and healthy.
Amazing. And this is actually an experience we do here with the public at the zoo, isn't it?
We do, yes. So we offer Feed a Big Cat experiences where public get to come and do this with us.
Fantastic.
It's an amazing experience for them.
Well, Kia's obviously very interested. She's up and moving around. And of course we do have a 4th lion, and probably the most iconic animal that we have here at the zoo, Moto the male. So can you just tell the viewers just a little bit about Moto?
Sure, yeah. So Moto is our biggest cat that we've got here at Paradise Wildlife Park. He weighs over 200 kilos. He has now been with us for probably about 11 to 12 years. He was born at the West Midlands Safari Park but moved here once he was old enough to leave his pride.
Awesome. Now, one thing that's really key to what we do for conservation with lions is supporting projects out in the field. And one of the real key things that we've done over recent years, which you can just see here, is support lion radio collaring. So this is an example of one of the collars that we send out to Africa, in particular El Pejeta Reserve in Kenya. And they use these collars to help track different prides throughout that reserve to help when it comes to human-wildlife coexistence, to ensure that there's no conflict between animals and people. And these collars are absolutely fantastic for it. They don't harm the lions in any way, they just fit around their necks nice and comfortably. And like I said, the rangers can then use technology to effectively locate the lions, see how the prides are moving around the reserve, which again gives really key information and helps people learn more about lion behaviour as well. And from that, we can then conserve the lions in a much better way. All right, so we're going to head through to the training zone now. So Cass, why do we do training with the lions?
So it's all to help with their healthcare basically. So training them to come over to us using positive reinforcement, i.e. food. It just means that we can sort of get close to them, check them over. They spend a lot of their day doing what Moto is doing right now, which is sleeping and resting. If they're doing that in the middle of their enclosure, obviously we don't really get a good close look at them. So by doing this kind of training, it helps us with health checks and that kind of thing. And with some cats we can take it a step further as well and even administer basic healthcare. So some of our cats are trained for injections so that we can give them their booster vaccinations by hand rather than dart. Some of our cats are trained to open their mouths so we can check teeth and gums and stuff like that.
Amazing. All right, we'll head through. So while Cassie's getting set up, so the reason that we have white lions here at the zoo, it's a bit of a historic thing really. They've been with us for a long time, but these are fantastic ambassador species for other lions. So we don't breed our white lions. The last cubs that we had were the 2 girls that you see over the back, and they're over 10 years old now. So it just shows how long it's been since we did breed them. The reason why breeding doesn't happen with white lions anymore is effectively because sadly there is an awful lot of inbreeding that takes place because the gene pool is so small. And obviously we don't want to promote that, hence why we made the decision to come away from breeding them quite a while ago now. So these guys are just simply living their best life, at least the best life we're trying to give them here at the zoo. And once they do kind of naturally pass away, that is when we'll phase out of white lions and move back towards your more traditional African lions, and actually hopefully be a part of the breeding program that's being set up for them at the moment. So we'll head through.
So what I'm going to do is actually blow this whistle before I start feeding them. The reason being is we're trying to teach our lions a recall, just like some people would do with their dogs. And the idea is that every time we have some little snacks for them, we blow the whistle so that they learn the whistle means food. And that means we could be anywhere around their habitat, blow the whistle, hopefully they will come and find us. So for their day-to-day management, that will help us with cleaning and things like that. Obviously Zuri has already realised that we've got some food for her today, so she has already appeared. However, of course I will blow the whistle anyway, just to let the others know too.
So it's completely the lion's choice as to whether or not they actually want to get involved in the training, and that's the key part of this being positive reinforcement, the fact that it's firstly completely their choice as to whether or not they want to get involved or not. And also, like we said, it's basically down to the fact that if they don't actually do what Cassie's hoping they'll do, they just simply don't get any meat. But if they do, then obviously they get the treat, and that's where they start to really think about what they need to do in order to get that reinforcement, in this case the food. Zuri generally tends to always be the best at it. So first and foremost, Cassie's just giving her a bit of a reward for coming over and responding to the whistle. That's effectively what that whistle training's for. As you can see, it's nice and safe. So the mesh is set up very differently in this part of the exhibit to the rest of it, just so that way it's nice and safe for the team when it comes to actually doing the feeding. So what are the kind of behaviours we're going to be looking to get from Zuri through this training, Cass?
So with Zuri, we are actually able to get her to stand up against the fence. That way we can check her pads, and we can also check the underside of her. So I will ask her to do that. Whether she will or not is a different story. It's quite warm already this morning, so she may be feeling a little bit lazy, but I'm going to give it a go. I think that's a no for that one. We'll try again in a minute.
So you can really see when they're up close like this just how big their teeth are. They've got an incredible biting strength, lions. It's around 1,000 pounds per square inch. Put that in equivalent to humans, it's around 30 to 50. Brilliant. And what you can also see just by the way that Zuri's taking the food from Cass is that they actually use their tongue an awful lot. Ah, perfect. So she's done the behaviour that Cass wants. So now that she's up on her hind legs, what it means is that the team or the vet would be able to get a real good check of the underside of her body. So say she was part of a breeding program and we were looking to have cubs, then it gives you an opportunity to check her teats to see how obviously they're developing for obviously giving birth, or if she was in the process of feeding cubs, just see and make sure that she's not building up something like mastitis in those teats. But also when they're up on the hind legs like this, gives you a really good opportunity to check their pads and also check their claws as well, make sure there's no ingrained nails or anything like that going on. So it's really amazing as well just to see how big they are when they get onto those hind legs. You can imagine her jumping up to take down something like a zebra out in the wild, like leaping onto the back of them. When you think they look obviously on all fours relatively small compared to us, I mean still big on all fours, but it's when they're up on the high legs it's when you really realise just how big lions are. So we'll give her a sec, she's just seeing what the others are up to, which is not a lot.
No, I don't think anyone fancies a snack this morning other than Zuri. But this really is just a snack for her. So it weighs 1.3 kilograms. When she gets her main meals, she would get something a lot more substantial than that. However, her main meals wouldn't be a daily occurrence. She would get them every 3 to 4 days. So we give them a few days break in between their main meals, which is a bit more of a natural way for a lion to eat, as much as this is really useful for their healthcare and checking them over. It's not going to be particularly stimulating if we gave them all their food this way. So to enrich them them slightly, what we would do is give them what we would call a carcass feed. So we would give them part of the carcass, which means that they have to work a little bit more for their meat. They get the opportunity to strip the meat off of the bone, and it just keeps them busy for that little bit longer, and it's just a bit more enriching for them. So that's how we generally give them the bulk of their diet, and these are just the little treats that we use.
And as you can see, because it's been quite a warm morning, Zuri hasn't stuck around for the whole of the training session. The others haven't even come over, but that's fine. That's what the whole point of positive reinforcement training is there for. At the end of the day, it is down to them as to whether or not they want to be involved or not. We do like to try and give the animals as much choice as they possibly can when it comes to working with them. And what you're seeing now with them just relaxing in the sun, this is actually really good lion behaviour to see, to be honest with you. Out in the wild, they could spend, I mean, especially in the case of Moto, you could spend up to 18 hours a day, pretty much just sleeping, relaxing. And that's obviously to conserve energy for when they need to hunt. Now, here in captivity, obviously they don't need to hunt, but it's still just positive to see that actually they are quite happy and enjoying the beautiful weather, let's put it that way. Awesome. All right, what we'll do is we'll head back round and just get a closer look at the lions one more time before we finish up. All right, come on through. So the training that you just saw with Cass there, that is actually something that you can do as a member of the public here at the zoo as part of an experience. Generally, when it tends to be a bit later during the day, the lions are a bit more keen for it. But as you can see, Moto's just having a nice big chill out here in the bark. So again, something that really helps in terms of the exhibit is the fact that the sun really radiates onto this area, so it keeps this area nice and warm for him. So it's effectively like a giant, nice warm bed, which is wonderful for him, as you can see. He's absolutely loving life. So yeah, hopefully that's just giving you a bit of an insight into the work we do with the lions here at the zoo. And also, as we touched upon, some of the conservation work we do too. But if you want to see a bit more of this, then please, by all means, check out 1 Zoo 3 on the BBC iPlayer right now. You can see a load more of the lions, a load more of the work that Cassie and the team do, and of course the conservation work that we support in that as well. So that's on the BBC iPlayer right now. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and of course celebrating World Lion Day with us, and of course our sister part, the Big Cat Sanctuary. But on behalf of the lions, and of course Cass, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you at Paradise Wildlife Park soon.